Boston in the USA. And I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga for many years. I actually discovered Sahaja Yoga in my early 20s. My husband was, who is now my husband, or since the 80s, had been practicing Sahaja Yoga in England, where Srimataji lived for many years. Her husband was posted to London as part of his role in the United Nations, and my husband encountered Sahaja Yoga in England and was able to meet Srimataji personally in England. And then he came to the Boston area to go to school, and I met him through our musical activities, and then he introduced me to Sahaja Yoga. So this is going a ways back. This was in 1981. I've been practicing since that time. And right now we're living in Boston, where we have a very nice collective of Sahaja Yoga practitioners and a lot of people from different parts of the world who've ended up settling here and enjoying very much our interactions with each other and learning things from each other. I was fortunate enough to spend some time with Srimataji in person as well. She came to Boston twice, once in 1981 when I first was introduced to Sahaj, and once in 1983 where she spent almost a week here and gave 3 different public programs and stayed with us in the ashram that we had at that time. So it was very, very special experience. This is while we're waiting to begin, while we're waiting for more people to join, if anyone has any questions about what they've been doing so far or what you've been experiencing, please feel free to unmute and let us know.
Yeah, thank you, Christine, for the beautiful introduction. Is there anyone in today's session who's joining us for the first time in the side room? If you are, please feel free to unmute or raise your hand so that Christine can go over the procedure for foot soak as well as bandhan. Looks like we have all our veteran participants, so it might be good there, Christine.
Just while we're waiting, I can tell you that in 1983, Srimataji did a tour of the United States where she visited many different cities. I think she visited, well, definitely New York. I think at that time she also visited Washington, D.C. And then she went south to Texas. She visited in Texas. And she went to California, in Los Angeles. She was there. Then she also visited Vancouver in Canada, and as well as Toronto. So she spent so much time traveling for the benefit of anybody who wanted to find out more about Sahaja Yoga. Was an amazing traveler. She just traveled all over the world, bringing this free of charge, bringing this information, bringing the knowledge, the beautiful knowledge of Sahaja Yoga to anybody who wanted to receive that knowledge and hear her teachings. So she was very, very generous in that respect, going from place to place, not just in America, of course, but all over Europe. She went into Russia, definitely, of course, traveled all over India, eventually South America as well. She traveled there. So it was just also in Greece. She went to Greece and a few other places in the Mideast. So she really traveled extensively, bringing Sahaja Yoga message to many, many seekers.
Thank you, Christine, for sharing. One of the stories I heard from another lead is that Shrimataji would, after the public program where she would give self-realization, at the end of the program, when seekers wanted to meet with her, even if it's a long day, even if it's late in the evening, she would wait very patiently to greet any seeker that wanted to speak with her directly. And what a privilege it must have been.
Yes, it was amazing how long she would be seated there after already giving a long introduction and a lot of information about Sahaja Yoga, and then the self-realization exercise, and then meeting anyone who wanted to come forward. There's actually some beautiful videos of that taking place, and just the beautiful smiles on the faces of the seekers as they met Srimataji in person. And she would work on their vibrations, actually. She would spend a little time working on their vibrations. So yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful experience, and very, very special, very treasured moments. Well, I think we have everyone probably who's going to join now. So if we like, if everyone is ready, we can go ahead with the program and talk a little bit about the topic for today, which is the Nabhi. Okay, so I keep on getting different information about the topic for today, but definitely we're going to cover Nabhi and Swadhisthana. And also we're going to talk a little bit about the void, which is closely related to the Nabhi chakra. So we will get into that topic. Peace and joy, Nabhi and Swadhisthana chakra will definitely touch on those. So as you can see, the Nabhi chakra is located right at the navel center, right at our waist. And there's so many qualities that are related to the Nabhi chakra, including the satisfaction, feeling of satisfaction that we get, not just the satisfaction from when we eat our food, but also the satisfaction is sort of in the broader sense, where we're satisfied with and contented with whatever circumstances we happen to be in. So it's the type of contentment and satisfaction that really comes from within and is enhanced by our meditation. The generosity is, of course, linked to the sense of satisfaction. It's not just that we are accepting things, but that we are sharing things with others. And dignity and righteousness comes from, there's a concept in our in the experience, our religious experience, you could say, is sometimes referred to as religion, which is dharma. Dharma is right action and the boundaries of our actions so that we don't go to extremes. So it actually is a very multifaceted concept, sometimes translated as religion, but it's really much subtler than that. So the Nabhi governs that sense of, you could say right or wrong, or what is good for us or what is not good for our ascent. That's what we're really trying to achieve, is something that is good for our ascent. And that's where this void comes in. The void element, the void area is the green area that surrounds the Nabhi chakra. And the void is also the position of our sense of being our own guru, and also the primordial gurus, the gurus that have existed throughout the ages, that have brought us information and taught us all the different ways that we can preserve that sense of Dharma and that we can preserve our well-being in order to inform our seeking so that we don't go to extremes in our seeking. And you can see listed on the left what we refer to as the 10 primordial masters. So the Nabhi chakra has 10 petals, and each of these petals corresponds to a different primordial master, or you could say a preceptor of all the different religions, many different religions that come from all different traditions, as you can see. For example, Moses in the Middle East, in Israel, brought us the 10 Commandments. So coincidentally, we have 10 Commandments, which relates to or corresponds to the 10 petals of the Nabhi chakra. And that's just one example of the kinds of wisdom that was brought to people who were seeking their evolution. And the importance of this, again, is that in our seeking, it's very easy to go to extremes. But if you keep to a central path, what they refer to in Buddhist, I think, in Buddhist tradition, they refer to as the central way, as the middle way, the middle path, so that you're not going to extremes in your seeking and you're following the basic tenets of right behavior and of, I could say, refer to it as righteous behavior. But it's really about protecting our own ascent and protecting our own well-being. Another one was Lao Tzu in China, who brought us that idea again, the way of the way, the Tao. The Tao is translated as the way, and the way is again this middle road, this middle balanced path where we're balanced between left and right. And we're achieving, again, in our seeking, we're achieving that evolution. So these are just boundaries that are set for us or that we set for ourselves that allow us to progress in our evolution. And the other aspect of the Nabhi chakra that I can mention, which is again related to this, is that it is the center of our seeking. And in the talk we're going to listen to, Shrimataji is going to touch on this much more. But our seeking, you could say at the sort of most primitive level, was a seeking for food. You could say that that really led the evolution of primitive, like animals and whatever led the fish to decide to come out onto the land and evolve into, land-going animals. That seeking was the seeking for their sustenance, was the seeking for their food. So that idea of seeking well-being on the gross level, like seeking for food or seeking for shelter, seeking for eventually seeking for money or for power, is much of that is centered on the Nabhi chakra. But ultimately, what we're seeking is something higher. We're seeking our evolution, we're seeking our well-being and our spiritual evolution. So that seeking, if we talk about, refer to ourselves as seekers, that we're seeking the truth, really. So that seeking also comes from the Nabhi chakra and is protected and enhanced and guided by the guru principle, the primordial gurus, but also the guru principle within us. So as you can see on the hands, the void is represented sort of in circles, the middle part of the palm. And you can see also the location on the feet as well as the corresponding location. But when you're feeling your vibrations in your hands, you may notice something that's encircling the center of your palm. That could be an experience of some kind of blockage or something that needs attention in the void. Let's go back to the Nabhi screen for just one moment, if we could. So in this, the position of the Nabhi chakra on the hands is the center finger on our hands, the middle finger. And on our feet, it's actually a little bit different from what we might expect. It's the big toe is the Nabhi chakra in our feet. So there's the position of a couple of the chakras are switched when you come to the feet. And as you can see there on the image of the chakra itself, you can count the petals, or 10 different petals, again corresponding to this 10 ideal tenets that we can follow to keep ourselves in balance, to keep ourselves from going to extremes in our seeking. So, and then in terms of Swadhisthana, what I can mention is that the Swadhisthana actually encircles the Nabhi chakra, goes around in a circle. So it describes the limit of the void. It creates, in a sense, you could say it creates the space of the void. And so the Swadhistana chakra again is closely linked to the activities and the qualities of the Nabhi chakra and of the void in that regard. It has slightly different qualities, but it is important to the functioning of this center, of the Nabhi center. So let's just take a few moments to just absorb some of this information. That's a lot of talking that I've just done. And what we can do is settle ourselves down and prepare ourselves for the foot soak meditation. So again, if you haven't prepared your foot soak yet, you can quickly do that now. And we'll go ahead with the meditation. We always start our meditation with raising our Kundalini. So we can go ahead and do that now. And then we put the bandhan around ourselves, the protection. And then what we're going to do is give vibrations to the water that we'll be soaking our feet in. So the vibrations are the sensations that you feel on your hands, the cool breeze that you feel on your hands, or sometimes you might feel warmth or catches, but that's all right because these vibrations are still flowing even though we don't always feel them. So the left hand stays open on our lap and the right hand gives a spiral movement to the water while we ask inwardly for this divine power to please activate the water and the salt to be effective for cleansing our system, cleansing our subtle system. So we're adding a subtle element to the physical elements of the water and the salt. We're adding a subtle power to those elements. And then we can go ahead and put our feet into the water. And let's just settle for a moment with our hands open on our laps and allow ourselves to bring our attention inside, away from any distractions. Can bring our attention onto the central path of the Kundalini. And then just as the Kundalini rises, we can raise our own attention, following the path of Kundalini. Bring our attention ultimately up to the top of our head, beyond our thoughts, above our thoughts, and into that realm of thoughtless awareness, of silence, of mental silence. And then we can go through the process of cleansing our left and right channels, using the earth element and also the air element and ether. So we'll begin by allowing our right hand to drop down towards the earth, keeping our left hand open. So the vibrations enter through the left hand and push out any negativities or obstructions from the left side are pushed out into the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth has the capacity to absorb and remove and neutralize any obstructions or blockages, any negativities. And we can inwardly say, that Mother Kundalini, please cleanse my left side channel of any blockages, obstructions, or negativities. Please allow my left side channel to be cleansed and filled with the joy of the Spirit. May I experience the pure emotions of empathy and loving kindness, and most of all of the joy. After a few moments, we start to feel lighter on the left-hand side. We feel like some heaviness has lifted from our left side on our left hand. Like there's some clearing and cleansing that has taken place. So let's bring our right hand back onto our lap. And now we're going to use the element of the the element of the air and the ether to cleanse the right hand side channel by lifting our hand, bending at the elbow, facing our palm backwards over our shoulder, and our fingers towards the sky. So the right hand side, or right side channel, when there's overactivity, tends to build up heat. So in this way, we're creating as if a chimney to release any heat, buildup of heat from our right side channel, and of course, any blockages or negativities. So we can ask the Mother Kundalini, please cleanse my right side channel of any of the byproducts of overactivity, such as heat or tension or stress, any overthinking or overplanning, and any negativities whatsoever from this right side channel. May they be cleansed out through the air element and the ether element. So again, this air element has a cooling effect. As we know, the wind, when it blows, it cools us down on a hot summer day. If there's a breeze, it has that cooling effect. So in the same way, we use it to cool and calm our right side channel. So with that, we can place our left hand back down onto our laps. Having gone through the cleansing process, we'll now bring our attention onto our central channel. Again, this is the path of Kundalini. So we can in fact bring our attention onto our own Kundalini and invite her to rise and nourish, cleanse and nourish all these chakras within us, all these energy centers. That is the quality of the Kundalini, is that of a nurturing and very forgiving and supportive mother within us, a spiritual mother. So we can take just one hand in a simplified version of raising our Kundalini and trace the path of the Kundalini through our central channel with our right hand with our fingers. And then just lightly touching our Sahasrara, the seventh chakra above our heads. We can do that 3 or 4 times. And then once we've done that, we can just leave our attention at that point above our heads. And if thoughts are coming in, we just watch them. Just like clouds passing in the sky, we just let them pass by. Without getting involved. So hopefully everyone has had an experience of silence with that meditation. even just for a moment or two. If we're in that state of thoughtlessness, that's still very significant. We can end our foot soak section of our meditation today by rinsing our feet off into the foot soak bowl and disposing of the water into the toilet. So let's take a few moments now to do that. Like we'll take about 3 minutes to take care of that, and then we'll reconvene so that we can then watch a talk of Shimataji where she addresses some of these aspects of the void, the Nabhi, and the Swadhistana. See you in a few moments. Okay, hopefully everybody is ready and feeling much lighter after our meditation. So let's listen to the teachings of Shrimataji about Nabhi and void, and a little bit also about Swadhisthana chakra.
Now above that is the second, actually the second one we treat as the third one, it looks here, is the power of, I was saying up here, this is the center of our seeking. This center is called as the Nabhi chakra, which gives us our seeking. When we are in the state of animal, then we seek food through our stomach. And you will be amazed then when we become human beings, also we seek our money through our stomach. We may get little diverted here and there. But ultimately we even seek our God through our stomach. Surrounding this stomach is the area where one has to cross. And this area is actually the area of the masters. All the primordial masters were born in this area, like Moses, Socrates. There are main basic 10 primordial beings who came on this earth, who came to give us an idea as to our seeking, what we have to do. Basically, they came here to teach us how to balance ourselves, how to balance so we can ascend. Now, all these great prophets or primordial beings, we should say they were the ones who were the masters, they came to inform us that if you cross too much onto the left side or too much on the right side, then you will be falling in your sustenance, in your quality as a human being. As a human being, you have to have a sustenance. And this is the center that gradually unfolds the sustenance from animal to higher animals and to human stage, where a person starts realizing that these sustenances exist within us. That's how all our laws have come. The 10 commandments of the Bible are the 10 sustenances that are within us. These are the 10 gurus who came on this earth to save human beings from getting out of the middle path, going more to the left and more to the right. Now the left side, as you see here, is the side which is the emotional side within us, is also the power of desire, is the emotional side which gives us our subconscious, and beyond that is our collective subconscious. On the right hand side, we have another power of action, that our desire we try to put in the action, and this power of action gives us our future and sustains our physical and mental activities. As a result of that, we develop an institution in our head called ego. Everyone has it. Nothing to be frightened of. When we do something, we feel we have done it. And that is a myth, but still, we carry on with the myth because we have not yet seen the reality. The another one is the left side power within us, by which we receive the aggression of others, by which we have our past, gives us an institution as a byproduct of our activity, emotional activity, an institution like a balloon you will see there called as super-ego. These two things meet in the head just like this. As you grow and a calcification takes place on top of your head near the fontanelle bone area, and this soft area which is pulsating in childhood becomes completely covered. Thus you developed your I-ness. You become Mr. X, Y, Z and all that. You develop your own freedom. This is the freedom that you have achieved to be Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z. After achieving this, you start using the second center, which is the center of your creativity, the center of your action. Animals do not have any ego. Of course, if they live with human beings, they may develop. But otherwise, they have no ego at all. And if you do something wrong, you feel hurt, you feel guilty. Animals never feel guilty. Because it is in their nature to kill another animal, it is in their nature to eat, so they never feel guilty. It's only human beings who say, oh, I should not have said this, I should have not done this. This is only human quality that we feel guilty. It is only human quality that we aggress others. So the second center comes into play, by which you think. And you think about the future, you plan. Your physical, I think it's too much now. Can you stop it? Can't just better stop the light, it's too much. I've been having this all through, it's too much. And you think, for that thinking you require energy. And this energy you get from the cells of fats that are in the stomach, which are converted for the use of brain. And when this conversion takes place, this poor center has to work very hard. When you think, this center goes into action. It has to work very, very hard for one work only, and that is to look after the supply of fat cells. There's too many lights there. Can you put off these lights? Just on.
Can you please put off the strong overhead lights?
No, these three and four.
These three just here. Just these three here. Or this series here.
Thank you. Still these three, if they can put off, will be better. No, these three. These three are too much. There's no need at all, there's three. What is that? I can see me otherwise. Can you not see me? It's like, you feel like shooting. So this center, that is what we call the Swadhistana center, is a center that gives you your future energy, to think of your future, your planning, which gives you energy to bring forth the manifestation of the physical labor or physical exercise or physical work. This poor center has to work for one work, to convert the fat for the use of the brain. Now, if one center which has to do many other things starts doing only one work, all other things are neglected. As a result of that, you develop problems because it has to cater to your liver, to your pancreas, to your kidneys, to your spleen. And once it goes into action for one channelized work, it gets programmed for it. And then it cannot take care of these things. That's how you develop a bad liver. You develop a diabetes, kidney trouble, blood pressures. Also you develop a very serious disease called blood cancer. Now Sahaja Yoga can cure all these troubles. It's only physical. But it can cure even physical troubles, because if this center is brought to its normal behavior, if it is made to behave in a very normal way, you can easily cure all such diseases which come out of your overactivity, overthinking.
So let's stay in silence for a few more minutes so that we can absorb the teachings of Shrimataji and absorb the subtle energy of vibrations that comes from those teachings. Again, watching our thoughts, not getting involved, If we want to meditate with eyes open, we can use the image of Shrimataji as a focal point. Because again, this image generates vibrations. Or if you want to meditate with eyes closed, you can focus on the top of your head. Now let's take a moment to put our right hand on the center of our Nabhi, which is right in the middle of our stomachs, at the level of our navel. And just put your right hand there. In this way, we give support to this center. And let's become aware of the qualities of this center. As Srimataji was mentioning, that on the right side, this center in combination with the Swadhistana chakra governs the activities of our liver, which is very important for our awareness and our attention. It metabolizes the fat cells for use by the brain. And if we indulge in too much thinking or planning, then it can become a little exhausted. So by putting our hand on the Nabhi chakra, we can help to cleanse and nourish this center. The other aspect we can become aware of that relates to the void which encircles this Nabhi chakra is the quality of the master, and particularly that I am my own master. This is one of the first things, the first affirmations that Srimataji gives us when she goes through the exercise of awakening the Kundalini. It's very important to recognize our own quality as a guru of ourself. Now, how are we our own master? Not by thinking about it, not by reading many books, but by being aware of our spirit, which gives us that guidance. And of course, the Kundalini, which tells us about the state of our chakras, where we need improvement, where we need support within us. So in this way, we are our own masters, that we guide ourselves, we diagnose ourselves, and we are the healer. Of course, we can take guidance as part of this process, but ultimately, we are our own teachers and our own guides. We can actually say within ourselves that, Mother, I am my own master. I am my own guru. I am my own guide. We can give abandon to this center. So the way we do that is by using again our right hand, which is a hand of action. I'm just showing you on the screen. This is the Vishuddhi chakra, but I make a circling motion around it towards my left hand, towards the left, towards my left shoulder. We're going to use that movement at our Nabhi chakra in a bandhan, in a circular, or you could say a spiral movement. Again, giving extra support to this center. At the same time, we're giving support to the void center as well, the void area. And then we can relax our hand back down on our lap. And again, see if we can feel that peace and that contentment. That is one of the foremost qualities of this center. And now again, we're going to bring our attention back up to the Sahasrara chakra and take the center of our palm, the right hand, and place it on the fontanelle bone area. Actually put it right on the scalp and give a little bit of a pressure and rotate it in a clockwise direction. While we press down, we're giving a massage, a gentle massage to this area to help open and nourish this center. And let's bring our right hand above our head and feel for the flow of energy above our heads. And then we can bring our right hand down and do the same with our left hand. And then we can relax our hand back down and just 1 or 2 more minutes, allowing ourselves to be in thoughtless awareness. So let's finish our meditation today. Again, raising our Kundalini and putting the bandhan around ourselves. And then the bandhan. And then we can bring our hands together at the center in at our heart. As a way of saying thank you to Sri Mataji and also thank you to our own spirit for the meditation today. Now, thank you everybody so much for joining today. And I hope if you have any questions or comments, you'll unmute and let us know anything that you might want to ask or observe, any observations about your meditation.
Just want to thank you, Christine. It was very beautiful.
Thank you for joining, Mati. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much. It was peaceful.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Christine. Thank you so much. It was beautiful meditation with everyone.
Good. Well,
Very well, please. Yeah.
So
Very
needed
peaceful.
attention. Yes.
I have
What-
a question.
yes. What's your question?
So, towards the beginning, I believe Sri Mataji said about the primordial masters are born in our void. And I wonder how there's a lot of kind of, for me, blurring or some blurring of boundaries between like the divine and people. Like that, I also hear that Sri Mataji, place your lotus feet in my head. And when I first heard that, it was a rather startling statement. And it's not part of the Judeo-Christian tradition by almost at all. Maybe in my heart, I feel something in my heart. But anyway, when she said, how literal to take it when she says the primordial masters are born in our void, if I even got that right.
I'm not sure that that is a new way for me to look at it. In a sense, we have personalities who are associated with particular chakras. And in that regard, the primordial masters, or in India, they call them the Sat Gurus, the true gurus, have a relationship into the qualities of the void. Just, you could say that they're born in our void is one way of saying that they exist on the subtle level, they exist in the void. So their teachings are reflected in the qualities, or related to the qualities of the void. So that's my understanding of the comment that she made, that actually, if you study some of the teachings of these gurus, which I've done just a little bit, not very extensively, you'll see that they all say similar things, that they all say that you have to know yourself or go within to understand yourself. And they bring that attention onto our spirit, which is that eternal and universal aspect of ourselves, which is very, very subtle. So that's my understanding. I don't know if that helps explain it a little bit.
May I make a comment, Christine?
Yes, please.
Not to get too technical or highfalutin or anything, but this kind